Well, welcome everybody to week 3 of our October online program for the alumni of the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in beautiful Powell River, BC. And this month we're talking about purpose in life. So we've talked about in week 1 the concept that purpose in life is a very personal journey. Only you can figure out your purpose in life. Week 2, we talked about imagining your future. And this week, we're going to talk about some of the barriers that we've noticed at the center with a lot of our clients. Typical example is this. So we asked somebody, what is your dream job? What would you like to be doing? I don't know, maybe he's doing something, he's digging ditches and he doesn't like it. So new career would be good. So ask him, what would you like to do? And he says, well, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a forest ranger. Great. Okay, so what do you got to do to be a forest ranger? Well, geez, I gotta, they changed all the rules, a couple of decades ago, so I need a university degree in forestry. And that's like 5 years at the University of British Columbia. So, really it's not very realistic. It's just a dream I have. Well, okay, so why don't you go back to school? Oh, what, at my age? What are you, nuts? And plus, I mean, look at this piece of junk car I'm driving, right? If I go back to school, I'm going to have to get a student loan. Ugh, and my God, I'm going to be in debt like $80,000 by the time I graduate. And I'm not going to have enough money to get a new car, so I'm going to be driving this old beater. And plus, I'm going to be the oldest person in the class, so that sucks. Plus, I don't know, maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was. I didn't really do too good in high school. Of course, I was stoned all the time, but, what if it turns out I'm really not as smart as I think I am? At any rate, by the time we have this conversation, all that we've accomplished is that the client's come up with 87 absolutely brilliantly argued excuses why he shouldn't even pick up the phone and make an appointment at the university. And that's pretty typical. We put all sorts of barriers in our way, and yet, if it is true that purpose in life, having a mission, is fundamental to recovery, then maybe we shouldn't do that. And that little story I told you covers some of the key barriers, like fear. Right? This is a huge one for people. They're so afraid of taking a risk because it's making them uncomfortable. So this fellow, for example, who figures out, if I want to be a forest ranger, I have to go back to school. Well, I can't go back to school. My God, what if I'm the oldest person in the class? And all that kind of thing. That fear is preventing him from even making the first step. It's amazing to me that addicts who seem to be, even though they're dead broke, seem to be able to still use drugs. They find all sorts of remarkably creative ways of getting it. They run up to the smallest problem and all of a sudden it's, oh my God, it's like this mountain and I can't possibly get over. And yet I know addicts who have no money and no work and they support a $500 a day habit. I mean, that's pretty good creativity. So it's not that they don't have the creativity, but when in recovery they seem to lack any sort of real creative ways of finding the loopholes and finding ways of getting things done in spite of the barriers. And the other thing too is they don't ask for a lot of help. That's a really huge barrier. As a client at the Sunshine Coast Health Center, that we constantly stress the importance of getting a support group. I mean, these people, by talking to different people, you can get inspired. Right? You get all sorts of new ideas. You don't have to do everything they tell you to do. I mean, that's not the issue. But maybe something they say can spark you and you can figure it out. We've had lots of clients here who said, I dropped out of school in grade 11. I can't do anything. And then they talk to people here and all of a sudden they find out 57 things they can do. And the other wonderful thing about support is people can help you along your way. Like, no one ever gets anywhere in life without help. Someone is always there helping them away. We don't live in a cocoon, right? So people are always there to help you along. But the key thing here is that so many people in early recovery, when they, like going to school or something, they want to pursue their dreams, it seems to be the furthest thing from their mind that they're actually going to ask for some help or for some ideas or for some support. And yet, normal, happy people do this all the time without any problem. So these are three pretty common barriers. This fear of taking risks, lack of creativity, and maybe it's a fear of asking for help, or this fear of, I may be weak if I ask people for help. But it's just it's a fundamental principle in everything. Everybody needs help. So here's three barriers that are people often face in their trying to figure out their purpose in life. There are other barriers, lots of other ones. Those of you who suffered from depression when you were here, that's a huge barrier pursuing any sort of future or long-term goals. Anxiety can be another barrier. Procrastination, that's another barrier. I mean, all sorts of barriers that we have. But these three, just what we've witnessed in the facility here, seem to be pretty big. So the keys to these barriers are face them and overcome them. Fear, the best thing is face your fear. All right? You're quite capable of doing it, but you actually have to put one foot in front of the other. Rather than figuring out why things cannot be done, start trying to get the sort of the mindset of how can I accomplish this? Okay, here's a barrier. So this is now a challenge, a creative challenge for you to overcome. So how can I overcome this challenge? And the third thing is keep asking for help, for ideas, who can support me through this, all that. At any rate, that's this week's online program. And next week, we'll come back with week 4 and have a new topic for you. See you then.